Oh, we're recording. There we go. Thank
Good,
you.
thank you.
L. Kennedy, is it? Lori Kennedy? I'm trying to remember.
It's Laura. I don't know how
Laura. Okay.
to change
Thank you.
that. I keep changing it and then it keeps going back. I don't know
I
how to
know
fix
mine
it.
does the same thing. And Robbie Healy, how are you? Good to
I'm
see you.
good. I'm good.
Glad you can join us today. That'll be good.
Me too. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. I enjoyed the large group gathering at Thornbury
You
and
know,
missed the last Zoom, but
that's why we just keep making this a process, Robbie.
yeah,
We just keep zooming along and it seems to work. Yeah. Michelle Murphy, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good.
Rob, what are you up to?
Rob
Miss-
Williams.
Mhm.
I'll have one announcement when everybody comes on. So
Okay, all right. We'll give it another minute. Usually folks kind of come on and then trail through. And Lynn, I don't know, Lynn, if you have a last name or where you're from, but if you want to let us know. And Hank and S. Brown, I have the same thing for you. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, my name is Lynn Cohen, and I am the Executive Director for the American Red Cross. So I have been talking to, I think is it Eliza? I've been in touch with someone, and
Okay.
I'm just really looking forward to being a part of it and seeing what we can do. I have lots of ideas how the Red Cross can be involved, so I'm super excited to be here. So
Good,
thank you.
good, good. Glad to hear it. We'll get more ideas momentarily. Thank you, Lynn. And then also Stephen Marvin, I see you. Hank Summer just joined us. S. Brown, I'm trying to remember S. Brown.
Steve Brown from West Callan Township.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Got it. Mark Slough just joined us. Mark, I hear you're probably going on vacation soon. Is that true? Oh, he's already vacating. I get it. Nice try. And Lori Cushman's just joining us. That's great. And who else? Hank Summer just joined, I see. Thanks, Hank.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Lori, I saw you for a second there.
Here I am.
Hello. Mark,
you
are you
doing?
going for vacation soon, Mark?
My bags are packed right next to me.
Okay, I owe you a phone call because I just got back from Saratoga. So,
I know. Yes. We'll
all
talk
right.
later.
Okay, we'll catch up. We got it.
Yep.
Hi, Hank. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you this beautiful Friday?
It is Friday, and I'm glad for that. Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
this driving week. So, I have a sense. Oh, and Rick just joined us. Good, Rick. I'm glad to see you back. Good, good. And Laura from Founding Forward. Guess what?
What? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you want more? I have more.
I do have more, and I'm going to want you to tell more folks today about
Yeah,
what
and I
you're
have other
doing.
things like other collateral materials I could drop off. I just live on the other side of the block from you, so that would not be hard for me.
Are you kidding me? You're
I
right
live
on
on
the
Minor
corner.
Street.
I didn't know that. Okay, we need to schedule. Yeah, we're going to tell everybody what you're working on, and then we're going to meet in person too. Okay,
Okay, great. Yep.
let's do that. That's great. So I think we got a good group here. How about we go around and do some more formal introductions, and if anybody has things they want to announce to the group. Our agenda for today, for the hour we're here, is for you to introduce yourselves and your affiliations so we know who's on the call. And we have a couple staff members taking notes. We're going to really talk about ideas for 250. I'll do a brief run through of what 250 is, just for folks who need a refresher. But then we're going to really talk about what are you considering in your part of the world when it comes to 250th celebration and commemoration of our independence. So we're going to keep it an open session to talk about ideas and what you're hearing. Okay. And how about we just do intros? Steve, can we start with you? Steve and Marvin? And I'm going to give it 3, 2, 1, and we'll come back to you, Steve. Steve Brown.
Sure. Steve Brown from West Callan Township. I don't know if you saw the news, but we just lost our historic oak tree at Lake Park.
You're the folks who lost the oak tree.
Yeah, the storm took it out.
Oh,
Now we have to we're deciding on different things that we want to do to try and preserve some of the history of that, figure out what to do with the wood. Also, we have a commemorative marker there, but we're trying to decide, what other things we can do to, commemorate that great oak tree and the life it stood all this time. It's always tough to lose a tree like that. I know the London Grove folks lost
Say
their
the London Grove folks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always tough when you lose a living tree like that. But we'll do our best to commemorate it, and we're going to do that as part of our commemoration for the 250.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great.
Along with reading the Declaration of Independence, and we're also considering bringing back our Historic Society monthly talks and talking about some of the great things that happened during the Revolutionary War period here in West Callan Township, because we had quite a mix of between the Tories and the Quakers and the Patriots in our township, being that it's very much was farmland and still is very much farmland.
Right.
So, the agricultural end of it had a lot to do with whether we were feeding the troops, feeding the English, or just feeding the local community. So that's what we're going to base a lot of ours on.
That is terrific. And I know there's been some talks about Tories and Quakers and Patriots and having those conversations, and some communities are hesitant to do that. And I'm glad that you're stepping forward, because that's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, there's always two sides to a story, right?
Two or more, yeah. Varied perspectives. Yeah, good. Oh, we're looking forward to co-promoting that and being able to help support it. That's terrific. Thanks, Steve. Good. Who would like to go next to introduce themselves and a little bit about what you're doing for 250, and we'll just keep diving in.
Hi, I'm Steve Marvin. I'm sorry my mute wasn't working. So
there you are. Thanks, Steve.
I'm a very small part of this activity. I'm just very fascinated in what you're preparing to do. I'd like to contribute in any way I can. I'm a librarian. I started what's called a primer for the Chester County 250 of events and activities going on during the colonial period that might stimulate all the other members to incorporate some of these facts within their plans for the event. It would be just a small little piece. It's not a promotional thing by itself, but it's a little booklet that I hope to finish soon and have it available to the group.
We would love to have that available to the group. I think you're going to be doing featured in the Zoom sessions, as well as if we can post it and send it out to the world and help with anything you'd like on that, please. That is terrific, Steve.
It'll be small, maybe 20 pages, and it'll just highlight what was going on at the time with Native Americans, slavery, what the farming was doing, animals, plants, all that type of stuff. Tools and things.
Excellent. Oh, that is, yes. Where do you want to help to get that information out to? Who are you trying to share it with mostly?
Mostly those engaged in the plans for the 250. So at least all the members of this group and anyone else who's signing up to participate. You know, this would be the Chester County concert band. It would be the Oxford. It would be everyone so far who has mentioned that they have a foot in the door. My emphasis is on the arts and cultural part of things. I'm sort of the fifth wheel of your 4 points here, and I'm
Excellent.
an artist also, so I embrace that sort of area.
Ah, this is terrific.
Oh, good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're also emeritus at West University, right?
Yes, yes.
So I had a talk just this week with Helen Hammerschmidt,
Okay.
and what West University is trying to do for 250.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
So I don't know if you want to connect with them to let them know about this as well, because
Sure.
it can be affiliated with all of the above. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be terrific.
Would Chester County 250 want to be the author or publisher of that?
We want to disseminate whatever we can.
I don't know if
Yes.
it's a saleable thing to make money, but I'm planning to do it free and publish it on my own.
I think between you, West University, and Chester County 250 and the Community Foundation, we'd love to figure out how to get this out there. And I
We
see
can-
it's no
we can-
money at all on it, but I think that we got to get the information out there. But yeah,
It should be very simple, easily, do within 1 or 2 months, and then people might have other ideas of things to add, but I can do that.
great, great. Great, that's great, Stephen. Emily,
Thank
can you make sure we hook up with Stephen so we can keep rolling on this? That'd be great. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Em.
Karen,
Yeah, Laura.
you know who might be interested in helping with the printing of that is Ben Ohanesian from WordTech in Pottstown.
Yep.
He has been very generous to a lot of the Chester County nonprofits in printing materials. So I
Right.
could maybe talk to him too.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. So
Great.
Laura, as long as you started to talk,
Yeah.
Marvin, are you done with your kind of intro there and what you're
Yes.
doing?
Thank you. Again, I'm my minor cog and all this stuff.
Oh, no, this is good. Laura, can you talk about Founding Forward and what you're,
Yeah. We are, Founding Forward is a civic education, civic engagement organization. We were previously called Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge. We, as of January 1st of 2024, went through a merger with the Union League Legacy Foundation, and we are now called Founding Forward. We have 75 acres adjacent to Valley Forge National Historic Park. We were founded in 1949 by then future President Eisenhower. Before he became president. We do a number of different programs. We do high school programs called the Spirit of America program, where high schoolers come in on Thursday afternoons and they stay through till Sunday. They learn about constitutional law. They learn about the way bills are passed. They do some leadership classes. We take them into the city and we do historic Philadelphia. And those are kids from all over the country. So especially for the kids from out west, getting to see Independence Hall, getting to see the Liberty Bell, that's really like something special for them that they wouldn't normally get the opportunity to do. We also do during the summer teacher professional development, which is what we're doing right now. Teachers come and they stay for a week. Each week is a different topic. Each week is a different set of teachers. This summer, we're doing a course on the French and Indian War. We're doing a course on World War I. We did a course on immigration. We did one on the first 5 presidents. And we did the one that I thought was most interesting was Rome and the Constitution, which was Roman influences on the writing of the Constitution and on the authors of the Constitution. So that one was very cool.
nice.
Yeah. Now that we have merged with the Union League Legacy Foundation and become Founding Forward, we also have access to a lot more programs and a lot more capacity that they were previously involved with. So doing speaker programs downtown at the League House, as well as in Liberty Hill, which is in Lafayette Hill, kind of Plymouth meeting area. What we are doing for 250, just last weekend, we had our PA Day event.
Right. And thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
so we got the grant from the EPA Beautiful America 250 grant that was for a volunteer event on July 20th on Pennsylvania Day. On our property, we have 42 acres that are under a conservatorship that is the Medal of Honor Grove. Each state has an acre in the Medal of Honor Grove, about an acre. And then there's a little marker for every recipient of the Medal of Honor on each state's acre. So there's over 3,500 recipients of the Medal of Honor, and each one is commemorated in the Grove. It's beautiful walking paths. It's a very peaceful place. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. Like I said, we're just adjacent to Valley Forge National Park. And our property goes all the way to the banks of the Schuylkill, and it's a really serene, lovely place to go for a walk. We had a number of people join us on Saturday to do a cleanup day in the Grove. So we did a lot of wood chipping, a lot of mulching, a lot of weeding, a lot of sweaty yard work type activities. And we had about 50 volunteers. Mary Moskowitz came out to help. Miss Gettysburg was there in her sash mulching. So that was
Miss Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We had a lot of volunteers come from DAR, which was a great connection that we didn't previously have. That America 250 had kind of helped to recruit for us. And then we had a lot of volunteers that had come from kind of military affiliated organizations like the VFW, and organizations like that. So it was a really excellent event. We handed out a constitution to everybody who came. And I was very happy with it. We had a little luncheon afterwards. And yeah, as far as the future, I am the kind of Chester County representative of our organization. And so I'm just trying to be as present as I can with all of these discussions and all of these conversations, and make sure that everybody knows me and I know everybody, and that if there's things that we can partner on, that we have the opportunity to do that. We're undergoing a major renovation on campus this summer. So we just finished redoing all the roofs on our dorm buildings. All of that is kind of in preparation for 2026. We want to help create a moment and create something that's going to be nationwide for the America 250. So that's what we are up to.
I am so glad you are here and doing such great things. Comments, questions from people?
Karen,
Mark, I hear it, Mark.
I just want to chime in with what Laura's done over there. About a month ago, I went there on a Saturday. It was a day typical like today. It was just wonderful. Walked the Memorial Garden, and I just can't say enough of how inspirational that was. I was literally all by myself. The path goes into the woods for miles, and Laura described it aptly, but for those who have never been, you have to go, believe me. Thanks, Laura, for doing all this.
Thank you. Yeah, and we are very dog friendly. If you have a dog and you want to bring your dog for a walk in the Medal of Honor Grove, we have, little baggy stations along the paths, and there are porta potties. It is a bit hilly, but it's not very difficult to walk if you want kind of a nice place to walk. I love walking my dog there, so I highly recommend it.
Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else want to add to Founding Forward or go next on what's up for 250 in your neck of the woods? I'll pick if you don't. Oh, Tim Compton, how are you doing? Do you mind unmuting yourself?
I'm good.
What's up, sir?
Well, we got picked up by Fox 29 this morning and started presenting some of the programming that we are kicking off in conjunction with the restoration of one of our new buildings on site. So a lot of this is going to launch prior to 250, but it's integral to the growth needed to meet a lot of the expectations for the 250 programming we're putting together. We're still waiting to hear on a couple of
Springs for folks who don't know, yes?
Yes, at a historic Yellow Springs. Sorry. So that space is going to be critical for a lot of the programming that we're putting together. We've had a number of newer partners reach out to us that are facilitating sort of history conversations and things like that. And we're actively in discussions with the Mill at Anselma, as well as Montgomery School, our immediate partners on making sure that we have every single day of the week with regular interaction and booking and that kind of stuff. So a bit of a continuation of some of the projects that we've been working on, but we're really bringing a number of those key projects to fruition as exemplars that can lead into 250 and new movements that we have going forward. So we have a key Veterans Day programming that we're just launching. It's going to be free veterans activities on November 16th this fall. And that speaks to the history that we have in the area, supporting the veterans going back as far back as the Philadelphia campaign and the Revolutionary War. So that's also going to launch a ongoing veteran scholarship that we'll offer for arts and programming. But during the lunch session on that day, because it'll actually have a morning and an afternoon program with a free lunch provided, we'll be injecting conversation about the historical components in this area. So lots of exciting stuff happening right now, and all of that feeds into PA 250 as we continue to expand programming.
It is all a journey towards 250 and after. As far as I'm concerned, we're already in 250. And as anybody will know, at the Battle of Brandywine and Valley Forge, it's not all about 2026. It's about now through 2020, whatever now.
Absolutely.
Tim, are you?
Karen, can I chime in to Tim?
That's what Mark is going to do. He's going to chime in on everybody.
That's my job. So
That's right.
Tim, I thought about you this week, and I was at Lafayette Day. There was a gentleman there from Gettysburg, and I don't have my information in front of me, but I did keep it to forward to you. He has a very large collection, or he's in charge of a collection of medical equipment and supplies dating back to the Revolutionary War. And I know one of your missions at Yellow Springs is to interpret medicine. And he didn't even know about Yellow Springs, and I was telling about your initiative. So I will connect you guys together, but this is supposedly one of the most extensive collections of early medical equipment out there. So anyway, I'll reconnect at some point with you.
That's wonderful. And I know Sandy is on this call, and she hosted the family members of the descendants of George Washington's group at Valley Forge. We hosted a group of them not too long ago. And one of the connections that came through with that is also a medical connection. He's actually an active doctor. I believe it's at Aberdeen Proving Grounds. But an active sort of more modern piece of it. So yes, we're really focusing on that medical component. It allows us to draw in our friends over at the Herb Society out of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia unit there, and we're working with them on some more attainable and approachable programming that rethinks medicine as it applied to sort of the herbs and the different qualities during that time period. So we're sort of putting a bunch of those pieces together. But as Mark pointed out, this is the time for us to start engaging in conversations open-mindedly, so that when other people step to the forefront, we can sort of say yes and bring them into the fold and incorporate that conversation. So yes, please share that. I would be excited to reach out to them.
Nice. So Tim, he mentioned Sandra Momer. Sandra, do you want to give a little what's new in your neck of the woods? And I think Tom Walsh is on the phone. Beth K, can you make sure that we don't have to hear it? Thanks. Sandra, can you unmute yourself? Yeah, you're still muted, Sandra. There you are. Nope, that's good. Go ahead. Oh, it's very hard to hear you. I don't know what's going on with your sound. Is it just me? Can the folks hear?
The artist at Historic Yellow Springs, and Tim has covered all the things we've been doing. We worked together on it. I just wanted to add one more component, and that was the women who were involved in the medical history at Historic Yellow Springs. So that's another area that we hope to expand on when we talk about the Philadelphia campaign and the medicine that took place there. We're very fortunate to have a connection with women in medicine.
So this might be an aside, and you might already know this. People's Light is doing an original play about women in medicine in the region. You want to hook up with Andrew Watring at People's Light and Theater about women in medicine in the region.
Okay, sounds good.
And he's not on this call, but yeah. No, Zach was telling me about it as well. That's cool. I think they're going to focus on the Women's College of Medicine in Roxborough.
Okay.
Women in Medicine Through Time. But again, it's an original play coming through
Thank you.
a year and a half.
Thank you.
Sure.
And on
Cool.
a similar note, we are talking with Salt Performing Arts is here in the village.
Oh, Salt.
I have a meeting coming up with them to talk about 2026 and on beyond that and ways that they want to incorporate. I know that Lauren with them is excited to collaborate and come up with some unique programming opportunities. So we're sitting down with them soon too.
I am so glad, Tim, to know that Salt's involved, because as we're trying to reach out to all the arts and culture groups as well, and Ajene is here on the call, and that's part
Yeah,
of his
I
job.
was just gonna ask Tim if you don't mind having her once after you meet with her, sort of connecting us and also inviting her to hop on one of these monthly calls would be
Sure.
great.
Yeah, very good. Who else would like to share what's going on in their ideas for 250 and 2026? Thinking, Rob, you had an announcement. Is it time?
Yeah, this is good. So I'm Rob Williams. I got into the commission via my role as the chair of the Historic Commission in Tredyffrin, which is, as you know, in the northeast corner of the county. But so the announcement part is I've now been added to the board of the Chester County Historic Preservation Network in the capacity of coordinating messaging to the network members. The network members are largely the township historic commissions and the boroughs historic districts, which are architectural review boards. And so what we've seen, I think, in the last 2 months is, especially because of the Thornberry several events, the townships are moving from simple awareness to now actually getting into planning. And so one of the movements that seems to be going on is the creation of task forces within the townships and within the boroughs. And what they're intended to do is to coordinate between the various municipal organizations and nonprofits at a very, very local level. So Parks and Rec, Historic Commission supervisors, along with the nonprofits like the historical societies in many of our towns and the historic houses within many of our towns. So this is going on at a very, very local level. I'm trying to track it and then promote it across, the 73 municipalities in Chester County. So that's one thing going on.
Excellent.
There. Yes. Second, I wanted to, in the meeting notice for today was posted the dashboard for all of us. And I just wanted to note one thing that I had posted on the dashboard, which is a book that I think would be great reading across the board. It's called Our Declaration by Daniel Allen. And so I'm going to put that in the chat right now so you can get to the dashboard. I read the book. The reason I want to mention it to you all now is there's only 2 copies of this book in Chester County right now. And I think it's really a great read for understanding how the Declaration came about. So, but what I did learn was every library has its own purchasing. There's no countywide purchasing. So if you are interested in this book, you can borrow it from Chester County. I would strongly suggest, with the demand that will probably come, is that you ask your own libraries to purchase this, and then we can get, like maybe 5-10 copies in the county for distribution.
You said
And then lastly,
Allen, so it's available for paperback on Amazon at $10.84.
Yep. Yeah, I guess the libraries will probably purchase the hardcover.
Yeah.
Or you could get it yourself. Yeah, it's a great read, amazing read, actually. And then lastly, just local planning. We've had our first meeting about having a British encampment in Tredyffrin. The British were in Tredyffrin for 3 nights, and they launched a raid on Paoli. So this is the beginning of the Philadelphia campaign, Battle of Paoli activity. So some of this stuff requires very long-term planning to coordinate amongst groups. for 2027. So, it's not too early to start thinking these long-term efforts. And that's it.
That's a lot of good ed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're meeting with all the heads of libraries. So we'll getting them more involved with on all kinds of ways. So this is great. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Who else wants to chime in on what's going on in your neck of the woods for now through 2020, whatever? We'll say 250, but we mean it broadly. Rick Fisher, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hi, I'm Rick. I'm with the local Masonic lodges and
Trees?
also with the class of 1976 of Coatesville High School. I'm going to propose to the class of 1976 that we kind of adopt the class of 2026 and see what that relationship brings, because we've been wonderful. There's about 500 of us that are friends on Facebook, and we communicate all the time, and we give a very small scholarship for the 76 member of each graduating class, because we figure they're a person that will get nothing really, and we give them a little note hoping that their class spirit will be as great as ours is. So hopefully we'll be able to work something out.
How do you pick the 76th member? Are you talking
The
alphabetically
school
or
does that.
by schools?
School with their ranking,
By
the high school
grade?
is able to tell who the 76th person is academically in the class.
Oh, that's all right. Steve Marvin, that idea, that's a good one for the
Sonic-wise,
yeah.
Sonic-wise, we're kind of off July through August, but have been extremely busy. Again, thanks to Facebook. I've been posting all the events that I've gathered from the area. I just now posted the link to the Chester County Planning Commission and the Chester County Community Foundation, asking for our lodges to start in their planning.
Thank you.
What exactly we will do. A volunteer opportunity I just posted was the Revolutionary War Pension Project that the National Park Service is doing, where they want citizens to help transcribe pension records, so they're searchable for 2026. We are planning 2 Liberty trees in the county, and we have the date of October 27th. It's a Sunday, where one will be planted at Brandywine Battlefield and also one at the Paoli Battlefield. Let's see what else is going.
So Sunday 20th, we got to get folks though. That's good to know. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah. We also have a YouTube video, which is America 250 PA Introduction. And if you search on YouTube, you'll find it. And it's an introduction to America 250 and how Masons were involved. Well, how people that happen to be Masons were involved. And the last thing is, the Tun Tavern. The Tun Tavern is being rebuilt. It's in Philly, an old city. It was where the Marines were founded, where Pennsylvania Freemasonry was founded, and in the Navy, plans for the Navy were discussed there. Was one of the local watering holes, so to speak, for George Washington and John Adams and all of them. And there's 5 organizations that are going together who called that their birthplace. And it's being rebuilt. It's going to open in November of next year. And there's going to be a big homecoming for the Marines and the Navy, and all in history and information of how you can get involved and all can be found at the Tun Tavern Foundation.
Okay.
And I think that's quite enough for now.
This is great information sharing, and thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is, I know we're looking back, but Mark, was anybody else at Lafayette Day last weekend? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Fantastic event, number of speakers, including Lafayette's wife, who gave a great expose on Lafayette's, his whole life, the family's life. There were a number of vendors there. There were some really good connections that I made. One I mentioned to Tim Compton. It had a great turnout. A large group of people walked to the Birmingham Hill site where Lafayette allegedly was wounded and taken off the field. The weather was perfect. I just can't say enough. And I think one of the most important things about our group meeting today is the connections we make. You know, just talking to Tim, and also the events, the people you see. While I'm talking, I am the president of the Friends of Martin's Tavern, and we're talking, we have a loose group put together to try to do a reenactment of Howe and Cornwallis's flanking movement from Kennett Square around through just below Marshallton and on to Birmingham, Osborne Hill, engaging Washington. Abby Kessler was on here, but I made some really good connections at Lafayette with reenactors. So there's interested in reenactors. I made a connection with a filmmaker there. With that project, we hope to film it and show it on a big screen at the 250th reenactment at Sandy Hill in 3 years. It was a great event, and the connections made are invaluable.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is great to see so many things bubbling up. What else? I wonder.
Karen, if I, I'm sorry, Karen, it's Hank Summer.
Yeah.
If I could just say, Mark, I also went to the Lafayette Day last weekend,
Yeah.
and I had a very good fortune to meet Bruce Modi, who wrote a book about Lafayette at Brandywine. And I am about halfway through the book, but it's a very intimate story about sort of what brought him there, why he was there, and his contribution to American culture. And I got a signed autographed book as well.
This is good. This is good.
Bruce is on our 250 commission, and what Hank said, I'll echo. His book is excellent. And, you know, one of the things about Lafayette that we don't know is he was an American hero, true and true. And just his exploits throughout his long life are absolutely incredible. And the book goes in and explains all that. And it's a must read, believe me, if you're into history.
Yeah, yeah. Hank, you're in Chad's Ford, right?
Yes. So I am a guest.
Yeah, what brings you here?
So I'm a guest participant since I'm in the neighboring town. I've had a chance to meet some of the people on this page right now. But it often seems that Chad's Ford gets into Chester County by default. So I thought it'd be beneficial if I could just be part of both of the committees.
Please. Yes.
And so to that point, what I would share with the group right now is we're in conversations to be more in a supportive role to neighboring events, townships, and activities for the 250. On another matter, I am one of the members of a task force regarding Mother Archie's. And I'm not sure if anyone knows what Mother Archie's is. It's
what is it?
So it's a very small Black cemetery at the outskirts of Chadds Ford, and it was 1891 to 1932. It was a cemetery. There were 79 burial sites or plots on the grounds. Unfortunately, 1932, when Mother Archie passed away, a few years later, her children started to move out of the area, and it sort of went into poor condition. And the township took it over many years ago, and there's been we are now forming a steering committee to see how we can make something with that plot of land. The challenges are for us, it's on a narrow road. It's in Chadds Ford. There's very limited parking. There's 2 slots there to park. And I'm trying to work with the Historical Association to get some more information, because there are some gravestones that are legible that we can research, and some are not, and some are not there. So it's going to be it could be a 2 or a 3-year project, but we're just starting. And that could be something we talk about down the road.
So once again, let me chime in. Hank, you need to talk to Bertha Jackman.
I have been talking to Bertha.
Pardon me?
I said I've been talking to Bertha for the last month.
Okay, well, she's the person, and she's on our Path to Freedom group. And
Yes.
I would defer to Marie Forbes, who's online here, to bring the group up to date on a Path to Freedom, since Hank mentioned the cemetery. But if you're talking to Bertha, she's certainly the person to talk to.
Yes, she is.
And here again, Marie can bring you up to date on our Path to Freedom group. We had an earlier meeting, so I would defer to her at this point, Karen, not to usurp your agenda.
Oh, you're doing great. This is
We're still going ahead, and we're still active in our pursuit of doing this the right way for the right reasons.
Nice. Marie, are you here? Where are you?
I am here. Thank you.
You are.
We're making really good progress. As some of you know, we're working on. I apologize.
You're a wanted woman. So this is Path to Freedom.
We're working on is an extension of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Byway. We're working on Heritage Interpretive Trail and Underground Railroad Heritage Interpretive Trail. We're making great progress. We have finished the list of locations. We're coming over to Chester County tomorrow to take the last 25 out of 158 images. We've got pictures of everything you can imagine in Chester County, and have arranged the trail in the sites in the Chester County Heritage Tourism hierarchy. So during the month of August, we will actually be laying out 2 trails. One that encompasses the area around Kennett Square and that area, because right over the Delaware Arc was where most of the activity was, and then a second one that spans all of Chester County.
Oh, a small undertaking for the month of August, Marie.
We'll get it done.
I know, you will.
Marie, do you want to mention the Pines?
Oh, indeed. Forgot about that. Sorry. About 6 or 8 months ago, the Brandywine Scenic Valley Byway Commission applied for a planning grant for the Pines, which is, some of you know, is the Benjamin Fussell House built in 1823. It's in Kennet Township, and in fact was a Underground Railroad site. And this past week, they were awarded $50,000 from the African American Heritage Grant Fund. So that's to look at how to basically fit out the interior of that to be able to house the Kennet Underground Railroad Center as a permanent home.
Beautiful. Excellent, excellent. And it's such
Yeah,
a
really
beautiful location, of course. I mean, just right there, so accessible and in the center of so many things, north, south, east, and west.
And
Yeah.
it will be the gateway for the Underground Railroad Heritage Trail.
And that's huge.
It is.
Gateway right there is huge right there. Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Lynn
You're
Cohen, you said the American Red Cross was thinking about a lot of things for 250. Lynn, are you able to let us know what those might be?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to come off mute. And so yeah, I mean, listening to you all, I'm not quite sure what we had planned was really like gonna fit. But now when you're talking about the you know, Clara Barton and her history, and I'm going to have to do some research and work with our historian to figure out how that could tie in. But, you know, one of the things that we were thinking about is really focusing on the 250 theme and, you know, trying to specify a day or a week, whatever the big day is going to be, like collect 250 pints of blood, and some point in 2026, you know, partner with a fire department. We've partnered with Fame Fire Department in the past, and you know, install 250 free smoke alarms. Maybe set up a day to train 250 people for hands-only CPR, which is a 30-minute course just to be the help till help arrives. You don't get certified because that takes about 8 hours, but and then yeah, so those are kind of things that I'm thinking about.
That's
but when
terrific.
Listening to all of you and the history piece, I'm sure there's some way we can. I have a fabulous historian, and we have lots of historical pieces of nursing outfits and things like that. That we've given to a preservation society, but I'm going to reach out to the person who's in charge of that and see if there might be something we can do around that. So those are just kind of the things that I was thinking about, but I wanted to make sure I was on the right track with what you're all doing. So it sounds like you guys are all more focused on the historical side, which is.
Don't worry, Lynn, it's okay. Because this is a We the People 250 series of commemoration celebrations, and it's all for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, for what happened during 1776, and then unfinished revolutions from then on. So no, I mean, there's so many things. I would say you are in a group that has a lot of historians represented. But the fact is, and we can do this towards the end, there's so many other groups throughout the region that don't have exact ties to being around in 1776. But then the question becomes this one, and I'm going to hit the PowerPoint really quickly. And Lynn, we can go over this, and we sent this out to everybody, but it really is, what were your connections? Here, this one. I don't know if you can see the slide.
Yes, yes.
What linkages do we have to our nation's pursuit of liberty and justice to all, and our continuing journey to build a more perfect union? That really is where you fit in much more so about what can you do, and things about, I mean, 250 pints of blood. We're talking about health and safety for all. 250 fire smoke detectors, like, I mean, those are the sorts of things that get the word out about. It's been 250 years of pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all.
Okay.
250 CPR, I mean, yes, just getting the word out that way is fantastic.
So Karen,
health
Karen, can I
huge.
jump into Lynn? Your ideas are really terrific. And what would be very useful is if you had just like a one-page how-to template that you could share, like how would we locally, working with our, our companies and our local civic groups, do a 250 blood drive, do a 250 smoke detector drive, do a 250, because we're trying to figure out how to engage all the other civic groups in our communities. And too often there's this bias that it's about history, but your take on just using the number 250 is novel and outstanding. And if you had a template that we could all use locally, that would be ideal. I would use it.
Okay, I will work on creating something. So yeah.
And a 250 logo on it, and we'll get it out through all the municipalities. Yeah. And I could see throughout the whole entire year doing, 250 blood drives every week, month. And we're not talking about just the 4th of July by any means. We're talking about the entire year and beyond. But just to keep that going on people, because as we're looking at it, I mean, we have it is starting now, and the things you're doing now are all building up to this. But as you look through it, it's the entire year. And then again, we keep going with Brandywine and Valley Forge. So anything we can do to get the 250 number in people's brains helps pay even more attention.
Okay, and then can I just share that we have in Westchester, we have a brand new blood donor center. It's now located at 1065 Andrew, and we are doing a ribbon cutting on August 6th at 10 a.m. and tours. So if anyone's interested, we're super excited about that. The old location was really needed to be gone because it wasn't really conducive to a really pleasant environment, and the new center is awesome. So we're super excited about that too. So thank you,
We'll try
everybody.
to tag you all on social media. And again, I'm going to ask Emily on this call to follow up with you if we can't find the thing so that we can co-promote it on our social media as well.
Thank you so much. I will.
Terrific.
Thank you.
And Robbie Healy, I see you have a hand up. You want to talk?
I do. And well, first of all, I'm a platelet donor for the Red Cross, and we love the new donor center. So thank you for that. But I'm on this call because of my Rotary connection and listening to the Red Cross vision. I mean, because this is not vetted with all the other clubs. Obviously, there are a lot of active Rotarians in Chester County, and our international president right now has, and this is an example, not a proposal, has a priority to use Rotarians to install peace poles in all of our jurisdictions. So whether or not we do a peace pole, I don't know. And whether all the Rotarians will pile on, I don't know. But it seems to me that, Karen, with your comment about lifting up groups that have been involved, not 250 years ago, but trying to do civic engagement to have a civil society even since then.
Got it.
There should be, could be, ought to be a role. And I think Rotarians like stuff. So is there a way to mobilize Rotarians to do something if we're going to have a physical representation of the celebration in the county? I mean, you go all over and there are statues and plaques and blocks and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I would love to have some creative input into if there was a thing that was going to physically represent everything we do to commemorate or celebrate or project the next 250 years. I'm thinking that the Rotary ought to have some skin in this game.
Okay. Okay. I haven't heard of a thing yet. What I've heard is things throughout
Yep,
region, but there's Rotary clubs throughout.
there are
So yeah,
significant, strong ones and ones that are smaller but mighty. And I mean, you go all around the country and there's a Rotary park, there's a Rotary clock, there's a Rotary something. And we're all smart enough to know they have to be maintained.
yeah.
And, you know, do you want to set your successors up to maintain something? Maybe we do. I mean, is it some kind of, I don't know, is it some kind of installation in a park? I like walking labyrinths. I know for a lot of people that's a religious expression, not a secular one. That could be a horrible idea. But is there something like that? And I'm kind of on it.
You know, Robbie, I'm thinking there's so many heritage centers and interpretive sites that I would think can use help in, and maybe it's adopting one in your each Rotary Club's backyard.
Yeah, it could very well be.
Yeah, there's so many, and I have maps, and I mean, there's folks on this call who know better than I, but there's so many of them. And just as we've been working with the different service clubs, volunteerism and what you're talking about is enduring heritage volunteerism ties. Because you said the key, there's so much out there, and the key is how do we maintain it?
Exactly.
I'd love to help foster some thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're good at being, I like to say Rotarians bring the 3 Bs, bucks, brains, and brawn.
Yeah.
We like thinking up stuff, we like paying for stuff, and we like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I can imagine if we could get the district to embrace this. And of course, the district is bigger than just Chester County, but it's, you know, it's the 250 is not just Chester County.
Nation. It's the nation.
Exactly.
One nation, you know, with liberty and
Maybe
justice.
there's a way to mobilize US-based Rotarians, and I'm smart enough to know I'm not going to mobilize them all, but catching the interest this year so that it can be developed, I think it has potential.
I do too. We need to follow Robbie. Thank you. We are getting close to the 1 o'clock time, and we said to people this would be an hour call. And I know some people are listening and collecting ideas. We do this at least every month, so ideas can progress. Anybody else has something they really want to put forward to the group before we close out of respect for the time frame? Anybody? Anybody?
I do.
Oh, Mark. All right,
Surprise.
wait. Anybody else before I let Mark go?
I'm gonna say I'll fill out the rest of the time slot.
I just had one thing, actually, also, Karen, if you don't mind. My other job is that I'm one of the directors of the Brandywine Singers, based in Chester. So we are working right now on a season of all American composers, hoping to do some early American music, some female American composers. We're in formulation plans for our concert season that's going to lead up to the summer of 26. So if anybody has any great suggestions about American music that they would love to hear, choral music, that is, that they would love to hear, I would love to hear those from you.
And where do the Brandywine Singers tend to really enjoy performing most?
I move us depending on what the piece is. Our most recent concert on June 23rd was at the History Center, at the Westchester History Center. A lot of times we perform at Good Samaritan and Paoli because they have been very generous hosting us and they have a great space for performing. I've gone to St. Peter's in the Valley and Malvern. We move around a lot. I like to mix it up as much as I can. So also, if you have a space, and I love historic spaces also, I would love to see if it's something that will work for us to do a concert there. It doesn't necessarily have to have a piano. We do a lot of a cappella music as well.
But what's the right group size? I mean, for
That
performance.
also depends on the music that we're doing, anywhere from 16 singers to 50. So obviously at St. Peter's in the Valley, I'm not going to bring a full orchestra and 50 singers. I did a concert of 16 singers there.
And if a group wants to bring you in, what's a rough budget as far as they would need to put aside to be able to make sure and pay you for your work?
Well, I mean,
rough range. We're just
yeah,
ballpark.
I mean, we kind of work on a partnership, right? So if I'm like, for the History Center did not pay us to come and perform there. We were a partnership. You know, we sold tickets, and I kept the revenue for the tickets, you know, to cover the cost of the musicians. So that's a conversation every time. We can work something out usually.
You are so fabulous. Thanks for bringing that for our attention. This is good.
I realize this may not be a good idea, Lara, but Samuel Barber is a Westchester guy. And
yeah, we're gonna do a full Samuel Barber concert as well, for sure. That we're
okay, good.
History Center about probably doing it in Westchester. I lived for a long time on Church Street, across the street from Samuel Barber's home, so he's near and dear.
Well, and years ago, decades ago, First Presbyterian Church in Westchester, and I know you know Marcia.
I do. Very well.
First Presbyterian did a weekend Barber festival and had it in the sanctuary where, of course, he had learned to play the organ.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's a venue possibility, but it
Yeah,
could
we
be
rehearse
cool.
there a lot. I live across the street. I can see it out my window right now.
Well, it
so
could be a
we
cool
rehearse there a
place to
lot.
bring
Yeah.
back a Barber concert. I'm done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I love great ideas. Anybody else before I let Mark talk? Mark, I think you're up.
So, Karen, you need to extend these longer. We just don't have enough time.
I know. We can extend them by 15 minutes. I just don't.
Anyway, real quickly, for those of you who might be interested in the theme of agriculture, of which is one of the 4 major themes, we had a recent tour of Southern Chester County, starting in Oxford. It was hosted by the OA, Oxford Area, Planning Association. They hope to develop a gateway/heritage center in the borough of Oxford. They currently have their OA building, of which they are trying to purchase. It interprets a lot right now, but the tour, and this would be specific to agriculture, and the tour went from the Mason-Dixon line in very southern Chester County all the way up to Lincoln University. And we're looking at the interpretation of agriculture in that area, but it's also throughout Chester County. And it also overlaps with the Path to Freedom group. Lincoln University is obviously, well, the first Black university in the nation at Hinsonville. It was a free Black community. So there's a lot going on in that arena as far as agriculture is concerned. Maria had mentioned the Path to Freedom, which we're also working on, which is developing very quickly. And one last thing, I think, is Jim Ziegler on?
Jim was on. There he is. Yes.
Jim, we need to connect, and you need to give me a tour, and David Blackburn a tour of the Steel Museum in Coatesville.
Well, I invite you all to come. Love to have you
I
come.
was there recently, and I want to talk about the iron and steel theme. So I'm going to be away for a week. We'll connect afterwards.
That sounds great. Thank you.
All right, Jim.
I would like to thank everybody for their time today and for everything you're doing I mean, it's vibrant, which is a great thing. So 250 is here as far as we're concerned, and the path is great. We'll continue this. We'll write up the notes. We'll put them on a whiteboard. This is being recorded. And also, as you want to help promoting any of these things, hook us into your social media and your email campaign so that we can co-promote and help get the word out. And if you need help developing that, just let us know. This is incredible stuff. And we'll follow up and let's connect, and we'll just keep zooming in each month, and we'll meet in person as merited from time to time. So thank you for everything you're doing. Keep doing it and keep safe. All right.
I'll try to have a rough draft before the next meeting. How's that?
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Take care, everyone. Mark, safe travels. Everyone, be well.
Thanks.